Welcome to this episode of Brew Better. Today we'll be showing you our recipe for Cezve Ibrik. My name is Scott. I'm the marketing manager here at Rosso, and I competed in the 2023 National Cezve Championship within Canada. Here's what you'll need: kettle, serving vessel, heat source, Cezve, our scale, grinder, 7 grams of our limited release Longboard Coffee, ground super fine. We have optionally an electric mixer, serving spoon, and I like to use an additional timer outside of our scale. First step, we'll begin by grinding our coffee. With Cezve, it's important to grind super fine. So we're using our hand grinder here at the most fine setting. Now that we have our ground coffee, we're ready to start brewing. We'll add our 7 grams of finely ground coffee to our Cezve. With such a small quantity of coffee, you don't want to miss anything. In my recipe today, we're using a 1:10 coffee to water ratio. To our 7 grams, we're going to add 70 grams of water. Today, our water is at 67 degrees to start. We find this allows us to dial in the extraction time, preferred for this coffee that we're using today. Again, optional, I like to use an electric mixer at this point in time. This ensures our coffee bed is fully and evenly immersed prior to starting our brewing. So I'll typically do 4 pulses. We're now ready to begin heating our coffee. I like to use an additional timer outside of what we have in our scale, and I'll begin that as soon as we place our coffee over the heat source. Turn on our burner, and we'll begin the brewing process. At 1 minute, I'm removing our coffee from heat. In my recipe, I like to do a single boil. Traditionally, with Cezve Ibrik, you would do 2 to 3 boils, but we find for the preferred tasting notes of our coffee today, we can get there with a single boil. Our coffee is rising to the top. We'll remove from heat, and now we're ready to pour. In Cezve Ibrik, you're looking for that crust on top of your cup. Ideally, there are no breaks or holes within that surface. You can see here, I don't have the ideal full coverage, but this is quite nice. We'll allow our coffee at this point to cool. Typically, I like to wait for 5 minutes to bring it to an ideal drinking temperature. And in that case, I will remove the ragua for an ideal drinking experience. In a traditional Cezve or Ibrik, you do get a little bit of a grainy texture. So this is part of the experience in drinking Cezve, and makes it a very different experience than some of our other brew methods. You can also use cupping spoons to do this in one quick motion. In this case, I'm just going to use this small serving spoon. With Cezve Ibrik, you want to minimize any disruption within the cup. It will bring our coffee grinds to the surface, which again leads to an even more gritty cup. At this point, you're ready to drink really flavorful, bold coffee that can still be quite floral, fruity, etc., depending on the coffee that you choose. Again, be careful, quite hot, but it does make a great cup. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and tune in next week for our next episode of Brew Better.